Coogler's vision. And even though we're shown through a villain, we don't care. It's okay, because it was still beautifully done. Ryan Coogler still did a phenomenal job showing our culture. He didn't disrespect it in any way, regardless of the villain. Wasn't disrespectful, did a phenomenal job. And it made us be able to connect to our ancestors again, to our culture again, because it doesn't happen often here in America. So to you in Ireland, not all of you, but those of you who are mocking us Irish Americans for claiming our Irish heritage and culture, don't tell me I'm not Irish. My ancestors did not survive famine, forced eviction, colonization, only to have us, their descendants, be mocked by the people who are sitting comfortably in our homes and in our homeland. You think that living on Irish soil makes you more Irish than me? Some of us, our bloodlines are older than your last name. Our bloodlines are older than any address that you or your family has in Ireland. And through generations, we never got to come back home. We didn't immigrate. We were exiled. Our land was stolen. Our language was beaten out of us. Our people were starved and scattered. And now we're being laughed at for trying to hold on to the one thing we had left, our identity. A passport does not make you Irish. An address does not make you Irish. An accent does not make you Irish. And we are refusing to.
She is speaking absolutely facts. And this is why the red-hair Irish are called the N-words of the European culture. It's very essential to know that I did not see the movie, right? As a Choctaw Native Indian and a descendant of Irish, I want to let y'all know that everything that she is saying is absolutely correct. First of all, my Irish ancestors, her Irish ancestors are Sephardic Jews. They were coming over from Spain and Portugal from the Spanish Inquisition. We ended up having land in Ireland. A lot of people were paupers, artisans, so on and so forth. I mean, a lot of farmland, self-sufficient people who lived off of the agriculture just like we did back in Egypt. See, the Irish oral tradition began to state that they came over from Egypt. They came over in several different incursions. First of all, as the Danu from the tribe of Dan. They left Egypt and they came into Ireland. Then you also have the Edomites, the Arabic people, whom ended up helping found Ireland, which is why Irish is an insular language directly related to Arabic, Hebrew, the Olmec language, the Mayan language, the Oromo language, Ethiopian languages. This is the Afro-Asiatic language. Then you begin to have Yari from the tribe of Gad, who went over into Ireland, which is why it is called Uriland, Ireland. Yari is a Gadite. Then you will begin to have the tribe of Judah from the two twins coming out of Judah and Tamar. You have Zerah. Zerah is the founder of Ulster. The red hand of Ulster comes from Zerah. Because when twins are born in a Hebrew culture, the red string is tied on the elder brother, and then you have Perez or Paris founding Paris, France, which is why France was known to be ran over or to be Negrofied according to Hitler in the Holocaust. And those French Jews, French Moors, Huguenots, were blamed for bringing in Negro blood into the Holocaust. My grandmother, the one downstairs, my daddy mama, her great-grandfather, her mother's grandfather, on her mother's side of the family. So my grandma Yvonne had a mother named Lavernia Reed. Her last name was initially Jameson before marriage. So Lavernia Jameson. And Lavernia Jameson had a father by the name of Hawken Jameson. Hawken Jameson was born in Montserrat. Hawken Jameson parents were from Ireland, and they were exiled from Ireland in the 1800s, and they moved to Toronto, Canada. Then they went to Montserrat to have their son, which is why the Caribbean ancestors in Toronto is crazy. Then they came over into Mississippi, where the Reeds, my grandmother's father, was already there. The Reeds were full-blood Choctaw Native Indians. So the Jamesons from Montserrat, from Ireland, and from Toronto came into Mississippi in the 1800s. And my great-great-grandfather, Jameson, ended up marrying my grandmother's mother's mother. Okay? So my grandmother, her mama, daddy was from Montserrat. His parents was from Ireland. So my grandmother, her mother's mother, father, was straight from Ireland. Black man, classified as a mulatto. Why? Because this goes back to mulati. And these are going to be the definitions of your Aborigine or your original Christians. The Christians were Sephardic Jews. We're not talking about Roman Catholic colonizing people. This will go back to mulattoed, okay? And these are people born amongst Arab, but not of Arab blood. These are your Israelites, your Sephardic Jews and Moors. So my great-grandmother's grandfather, who was straight from Ireland, he came over in Ireland in 1848, grown man, married, with children. So I'm really trying to figure out if my great-great-grandmother was born in Mississippi or if she was born in Ireland and came over here with her daddy and her siblings. One of her siblings was a passing woman. They were all classified as mulatto. My great-great-great-grandfather was actually darker than me. He had to get naturalized as a citizen around 1848. This is going into the exile of the Irish. In fact, my Choctaw Native Indian ancestors sent money to Ireland to assist them in the midst of famine, in the midst of war, in the midst of exile. These are Hebraic markers. Going back to the time of Abraham in 2181 BC, it was a famine, Genesis 12. Even the archaeological aspects began to state that these people began to eat their children. We see this in the book of Kings and the book of Samuel as a curse of cannibalism during famine. This was under Manuhotep II in ancient Egypt. This is how he began to line things up historically. And warfare ended up entering into Egypt, and they call this the Asiatic incursion. And this is due to the fact that these Afro-Asiatic people were fleeing from Mesopotamia into Egypt, and then they had to go down into West Africa. 3000 BC, West Africa and the Americas had food, while the Levant was in famine. Then again, when you see these multiple famines in the time of Ruth in like the 1300s to 1200 BC, when the Israelites ended up going back in Egypt to look for food, and the tribe of Asher and the tribe of Dan were hired from Greece, specifically the tribe of Dan, to be mercenaries to kick out the Shashu of Yahweh, which would be Edomites, Midianites, Kenites, and Amalekites at that time. So when you begin to look at the Irish, the people that are in Ireland right now are the same colonizers that are everywhere. They began to take over the Irish land. So for people to even feel as if just because they are in Ireland that they are more Irish than those of us that are in America, it's asinine BS. Now, I don't know how the Irish were historically represented in the movie. I will say that I know for a fact that my Irish ancestors, when they came over here, they lived amongst the Choctaw. They married amongst the Choctaw. Why? Because the Choctaw Native Indians are Edomites, are Afro-Arabic people as well as the tribe of Judah. Because in 1000 BC, in the time of King David, the Edomites, Midianites, and Amalekites, the Shashu of Yahweh, ended up living in Judean territory. So when the Choctaw Native Indians, and we are described as red and ruddy people, so are the Arabic Edomites, and so are the Nazarenes, King David and Solomon. So these people groups are actually related. And they got along perfectly fine until Great Britain came over here, starting the same slavery and exile that they did in Ireland to my Native Indian ancestors and even to the Irish ancestors. This is why when you go look into Jamaica and into Montserrat, our Patos is exactly the same because of the Sephardic Jews from Ireland sent into these places, forced out in exile. This is true history. This is why the redheads are called the N-words, because they go back to Edom and to the tribe of Judah and to the tribe of Gad. Food for thought.